Welcome back to another episode of our series here on YouTube, where we're on our path to finding the most perfect car out there. And today might be the day when we do, because next to me here is Jesper's BMW E36 M3 from 1997 in estorial blue, which is also supercharged and has been modified from top to bottom with all the crazy parts you can get for an E36. And according to me, this is probably the first M3 that BMW made that actually put them on the map to compete with Porsches, Ferraris, all the other cars out there. So today we're going to find out if this thing is still as impressive today as it was back then. I've known Jesper for quite a while now. Always loved his E36 M3. And the production line of these started back in 1992 all the way up to 1999. And the first models came out with a straight inline 6 3.0, which was called the S50 B30, dual Vanus, 5-speed gearbox, 188 differential. And then in 1996, they tweaked this already existing monster just a little bit. They turned this into a 3.2 liter, still dual Vanus, gave it a 6-speed gearbox and a 210 differential, which was an amazing upgrade to something that was already amazing. In 1997, they came out with a facelift. That sounds interesting and nice, but the only little difference it made was they removed the plastic around the side markers and made the grille a little bit more round and made it pop out just a little bit more. This is a 1997, so it is a facelift, and Jesper's got it just right with all of the goodies. He's added a GT lip in the front, AC split wheels, 8.5s in the front, 9.5s in the back, and yes, they're 18, not 17 inch. He's got M Performance calipers and E36 M3 CSL discs all around. And in the rear, Porsche Boxster calipers. This thing has got everything you need to get the best track records out there. It's got KW chassis, Milway top mounts, bushings replaced, the list just goes on and on. So we're gonna see how great this thing handles on the road. The 3.0 came out with 286 horsepower, which was amazing and very impressive back in 1992. In 1996, when this one came out with a 3.2 liter, it made 321 horsepower. This M3 in particular has got a Paxton supercharger added to the package, and it makes 431 horsepower and 469 newton meters of torque. That's a great extra little push for this little go-kart. We're gonna take this one for a spin. I can tell you this, I'm already smiling because it feels like I'm driving a car, and this makes me happy because it's not an automatic, it's not comfortable. It's comfortable for what it is, but it's very mechanical. Oh yeah, this is gonna take a while to get used to. So right now we're just gonna cruise along down a countryside road, test the comfort. I've had a couple of E36s before, not an M3 unfortunately. I know what it's like to drive one, and I know the interior is pretty much the same except the Vader seats and more advanced cluster. But you can tell that this car is very stiff, and the response is great. The second you turn the wheel just slightly, it just goes with wherever you're pointing. And I'm just driving as comfortably as I can right now, as if I'm going to my little house out in the countryside. Impression of the interior and everything, you can tell you're back in the 90s, obviously. To me, I love it. I'm born in 93, and they came out just pretty much just when I was born. I did not have the privilege to get in one as a kid until I turned, I think, 10 or something. But still, it was an impressive car for me, even as a kid. So we got a 3.2 inline 6 dual Vanna system and a supercharger. I'm in fourth. I'm on low RPMs. I'm just checking out the low end torque. Oh, that's right. Since this is a 97, it's got a 6-speed. I was a little bit worried there. I'm like, maybe, I'm hoping I'm not putting it into reverse now. But then again, BMWs, they're all the way to the left and then up next to the first gear. So I'm not really all that worried. This whole drive is not going to do this justice at all until we get on the curvy small roads. And we can actually get off here, it looks like. Exhaust, it's not loud. I haven't really stepped on it. I haven't stepped on it at all. But just driving as like this, it's not loud at all. It's really comfortable. The clutch is, I don't know what clutch it is, but it is an upgraded clutch. Aluminum flywheel, he said. So it is a little bit more advanced. Before we continue with today's video, don't forget and don't miss the personal discount code AlexSystem30 for 30% off, time limited, so get yours before it's too late. It's in the description. What the hell? This thing actually moves better than I thought. You're really back in an old car where you can feel like you don't really have to go all that fast to feel like you're going fast, which is something I like. Wow, it turns great. You can tell, like I'm going pretty fast for what we're doing right now. And the car is it's not struggling at all. It's got a lot to give. I'm in fifth flooring it at 100 and it's pulling, it's really pulling. And this thing isn't really like all that heavily tuned. It's pretty basic. I mean, they bumped up the horsepower by 100. And you can do a lot more than that, I'll tell you that. I know a lot of people, they add turbochargers to these and they're making 600-700. You have to take into consideration that this is from the early 90s, where that's when they designed the whole interior and everything. It's not modern at all. I like the old 90s cars. I love how everything is kind of pointed at the driver. And then again, we're in a BMW. And this is supposed to be a driver's car. And I can tell you right now that I am really driving this car. It sounds nice. Wow, once you go past like 5,000 RPMs, it really pulls on you. Right now I'm in third. Don't want to piss off these people, but I really want to floor it. I really want to floor it. Intake sound is crazy. Oh shit, we're going really fast. I mean, we're doing the speed limit. It really takes turns great. It feels like it wants to steer into the turn even before I start turning the steering wheel for some reason, in a good way. Wow, I like this. I like this. You need to get out and drive this. You're not gonna enjoy it if you're sitting in traffic or if you're on the cruise control going down the highway. You need to get on small curvy roads with this. That's where this belongs, I'm telling you, right now. And I love the way it looks, I love the way it feels. I love the way it handles, honestly. To me, this feels great. And if you're buying one of these, I do believe, oh, it's got CD too. I do believe that you're getting this because of you're out to get the driving experience and you want to get the feeling of, you want to get a race feel in a car that you can also use as a daily. Honestly, to me, this car does that very well. Down into second. I'm just gonna give it a little bit more gas here. The interior of the E36 M3 is very basic, but that's also what you want it to be. Because it feels like the engineers at BMW wanted this to be pretty much like your everyday commute car, but also a race car when you take it to the track. Everything is facing the driver because this is a driver's car. You got your onboard computer, seats are comfortable, it looks nice, but it's not too advanced either. I'm giving this interior 7.5 Alex's. When we're sitting in this particular car, we got to keep in mind that this one is equipped with KW suspension, stiffer bushings, and all the other extras to make this car quick and handle well. But it comes with its downside. It makes this car stiff and less comfortable. Seats are nice. It's not too much cushion, and they're very well shaped around your body to keep you from moving in the seat while taking turns, but it doesn't really bump up the comfort that much. That being said, I'm giving this car 5 out of 10 Alex's in comfort. Moving on to our next category is going to be the exterior of the E36 M3. To me, this chassis, this model is kind of what got me into BMWs in the first place. I love the way it looks. It looks old, but not too old. It looks modern, but not modern. It's a little bit weird to me, but I just love the shapes. It's very smooth and round, but it's also pretty squared. It's a perfect combination. And I just love this one in particular with the GT lip in the front. The M3 mirrors look great, and the smaller side panels, or the thinner ones, are amazing. GT wing does the whole car justice. The only thing that I would have wanted for this one in particular, not this one in particular, but any M3 out there, is if BMW would have made the chassis a little bit wider from factory, just a little bit. Half an inch each side would have been perfect. With that being said, I'm giving this one 9.5 out of 10 Alex's on the exterior. Moving on to the exhaust of this particular M3. I love the way it sounds. I love inline sixes, especially when it's supercharged. The way they set up the whole engine with the cylinder head and the way it flows, it just sounds amazing, and you can really hear the intake noise of this engine. I love that. The only thing with this car that I would have wanted to change is just to make it a little bit louder, but it does really sound nice. Could you please start the car and give us a little bit of a rev? With that being said, I'm giving this 7.5 out of 10 Alex's. So how tunable friendly is the E36 M3? Well, you got a very good base to build on if you want to make horsepower. The cylinder heads are perfect. Dual Vana system, great. 3.2 liter, what more could you ask for? But you can't really do all that much with a low budget. You need to spend a lot of money to make this thing go super quick. You need a supercharger, a turbocharger. You need to do heavy, big modifications to it. With that being said, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10 because it needs a lot of work to go fast. So moving on to our next category is gonna be aftermarket support. These cars have been around for a while, and we all know that they're very popular, and a lot of people have tried pretty much everything with them, which is great. There are parts everywhere. You can read anything you need to know off the internet, but what makes this one in particular get lower scores than the whole full shenanigan is, for example, this one is equipped with the Motorsport package or option, which gave it aluminum doors. And if somebody was to hit you, or if you had a damaged door, you can't really get a new one. I mean, at least not an OEM one. So you would have to go with aftermarket, and you can't call your car completely stock anymore. That bumps it down to 8 out of 10 Alex's. And oh, by the way, before we forget, we're also giving away a free tub to Jesper of his choice of flavor for being in today's video. Moving on to performance of the E36 M3 right here next to me. Inline 6, great character, supercharger, low boost. It could use a little bit more of a push. I am giving this one in particular 5 out of 10 Alex's because it's only in today's day and age making 431 horsepower, which was a lot back then, but not a lot today, unfortunately. But we're moving on to our next category, which is going to be handling. I'm actually surprised. I knew it was going to be good, but not this good. The brakes are amazing. The way the chassis feels and the suspension, how it takes turns, incredible. I can barely find words, and I could compare this to a Porsche without being roasted on the internet, because it probably will keep up with your Porsche. I'm giving this 9.5 out of 10 Alexes on handling, and that is a lot of points in that category because it's very difficult to collect all those scores right there. So, we're almost getting to the end of this. Miles per gallon. How fun is this to drive? Me, this is my opinion. I love mechanical cars, older cars. I'm giving this 9 out of 10 Alexes because it handles almost perfectly. I haven't driven it to the limit, but then again, this is Jesper's car and we're not gonna push it all that far. I'm still giving this 9 because everybody here saw the smile on my face when I pulled in. But we're also gonna move into our last category of today's episode, and that is gonna be bang for the buck. We have seen these cars go anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000. And we spoke to the owner and we said that we would estimate the value of this to about $50,000. Are you really getting all that much for $50,000 today? It's still a lot of money. It's a whole lot of car if you use it the right way. Comfort isn't really all there. It's not the fastest. It's probably the most fun if you're on a small curvy roads in the mountains. So if you live there, sure. If you live here in Stockholm, maybe not all that much because it is still, in our opinion, very expensive. I'm giving this 5 out of 10 Alexes on bang for the buck, unfortunately, but it is still an amazing car. I love it. I'm never gonna dislike the E36. I believe this is one of the greatest cars to give a young car enthusiast inspiration to get into cars. I love it, honestly. And we're gonna round this episode up by saying that this one is getting 71 out of 100 points on the scoreboard. We wanna thank you guys so much for watching, and we appreciate that you still do. And if you guys wanna see any car in particular, let us know in the comments so we can arrange that for you. Hope to see you in the next. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.